Welcome to Passionate World Talk Radio. Educate, enlighten, entertain. And today on her show, Our Common Faith, Mrs. Berrah is going to talk about differences.
Good afternoon.
And we are going to call, can our differences be reconciled? So, can they?
Yes, let's see. I think that our differences is a richness. We can all agree on the fact that sitting on a couch in the comfort of our home, we are able to travel. We can order some Chinese food or some shawarma from a Lebanese restaurant, some tandoori chicken from an Indian restaurant, or some sushi from a Japanese restaurant, and much more. All that within a couple of minutes. Of course, none of those dishes can be compared to our Thanksgiving traditional meal: turkey with stuffing, mashed potatoes, cranberry sauce, uh, green beans, corn, pumpkin pie, pecan pie. Nonetheless, we are happy to embrace different type of cuisine, and without a speck of doubt, it's a richness in a household, because each one of us is unique. Our differences of character can induce some clashes. Imagine how boring could it be if all of us were to agree all the time. The golden rule is to disagree, yet to be respectful and listen to one another. Better ideas could emerge and generate fruitful outcomes. But I have to say that our family bonds make things easier. In any forum, our differences are a richness. It could be in a corporate meeting or in a political arena. Listen to other people's opinion is a richness. But why are we so reluctant to accept our differences? Look at the great American mosaic. In his memoir, A Dream for Peace, my husband, Dr. Berrah, put some emphasis on our ethnic mosaic, and I quote, "No society embodies so much unity in such a diverse way." I have always treasured the fact that the entire world seems to exist in the United States. As a country of immigrants, where many come to ply their trade, perfect their craft, and deliver unmatched transformative innovation to the world, the US is a place where each person, ingenuity, is embraced with open mind. Yet, racism is still rampant in our country, despite the denial by some. Recurrent incidents taking away lives of innocent individuals are painful and troublesome. It is no mystery why so many feel left out of the system or do not feel like they stand a chance in achieving the American dream. My hope, he said, is to one day see the tail ends of the plague of racism as it is extracted from its very roots, leaving in its wake the birth of a new society, the ultimate utopia. Racism results from the fear of the unknown. People tend to congregate and stay in their own communities where everybody looks alike, act the same way. They feel reassured and more secure. Most individuals are afraid to step out of their comfort zone. They seem to forget that others are human beings just like them. They consider, unfortunately, our diversity as a threat, not a richness. Worst is the difficulty to accept our religious differences. It seems that those who don't worship like us come from Mars. They look very strange and suspicious to us. How can we reconcile our differences? We should look at one another like babies do. Watch our babies. They enjoy our differences. They greet and welcome everybody. They seem to understand more than us that God's purpose is also reflected in the variety of his creation. The beauty of his creation resides in diversity of human beings whose skin colors are akin to a palette ranging from milky white to ebony black. It would have been easy for the Almighty to create us all in uniform colors and size, but instead, he chose to ensure that each person is a reflection of the unique power of his creativity. This is a quote from Our Common Faith, another book written by my husband, and I co-wrote the introduction. Let's think for a second. Isn't it what a waste of time, our failure to appreciate the uniqueness of each other? We will feel certainly better if we embrace the force behind all creation as a source of inspiration on a daily basis. COVID-19 reinforced our oneness on planet Earth, our common humanity. How to reconcile our religious differences? The foundation of all religions rests upon the concept of morality, the sincerity in living a religious life, the quest to follow the righteous path, and the desire to practice honesty in judgment, sincerity in speech, and in all one's action, including aspirations, are intrinsic value that correlate to all faiths. Our religion is the way we choose to go to the Almighty. The basic principles are the same: the love of God for those who believe in God, and the love of our neighbor. Again, if the Almighty wanted, he could have revealed himself only once, and all of us will have the same religion in the Abrahamic faith. But he likes to be worshipped in various ways. I have a story to tell you about that. More than 30 years ago, my husband and myself took a trip, and I took a trip to Jerusalem. And he was a devout Muslim, and I am a fervent Roman Catholic, a Christian. And we decided to go together in a pilgrimage. And one of the Friday we were there, I asked to walk the way of the cross. And so the appointment was at 3 o'clock at the house of Pilate, where Jesus has his trial. And he took me to the house of Pilate and to meet my fellow Christian. And he went like few blocks, everything is so close there, few blocks away to attend the Muslim prayer at the Al-Aqsa Mosque, while the Christians were in processions passing by the Al-Aqsa Mosque. The muezzin was calling the Muslim faithful to prayer. So we were praying loudly, the muezzin was speaking loudly to call the faithful Muslim, and next is a Wailing Wall. And the Jewish faithful were also praying loudly. It was a beautiful sight to behold. I say to myself, why are we fighting for? This is beautiful. All the prayers rise toward the sky to the Almighty. It's an experience worth to do. So our Buddhist and Hinduist brother and sister are also taught to do good deeds. And those we believe in nothing are also our human brother and sister. Our human fraternity is paramount. That's the most important. We are human. And I'm going to conclude today with something that I took from the book, Our Common Faith. It's my husband's conclusion. All my life, I tried my very best to serve the Almighty. And in so doing, I have been blessed, and He has illuminated the road on which I continue to travel with but one desire: to communicate these sentiments to others who seek happiness in God's guiding light, and reaffirm the belief that our religion shall not divide us, for it is God we seek, and in that quest, spirituality must unite us in our common faith, and His world shall be a better place for all humankind. This is it for today.
I think that is words of wise advice. And for those who are trying to teach their children of how to live in peace with everyone, may I suggest they read Dr. Seuss' book, The Lorax, in which the Lorax has stars on their belly and the other inhabitants do not. And they sort of go into this great disagreement where the ones who do not have the stars on their bellies feel like they're being slighted. So the way Dr. Seuss handled differences is that he had the Lorax and the different animals go through different boxes that would put different types of geometric patterns on them. And by the end of the book, they both were a mess. And the idea being is that be content who you are, respect other people for who they are, and you're no better or no different from them who are not like you. And I think that's a wonderful lesson to learn as a child, so that when you grow up and you take a look of other people who live far away, you understand their value as well as yours make one united world. Do you agree?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, ladies and gentlemen, children and adults of all ages, you can see this program on Our Common Faith with Dr. Ghulam Farah, Mrs. And Can Our Differences Be Reconciled? That's on youtube.com/PWR Network LLC, Facebook.com/PWR Network, also on https://passionateworldtalkradio.com. Menu right hand side, look for Mrs. Ghulam Farah. on Our Common Faith, and you see it there, and you will probably see it posted on Mrs. Berrah's site as well.
On the
And
Dr. Lou and Berrah Foundation, on the foundation site. It's
say it again, just in case they missed it.
www.berrahfoundation.org. And it's all about interface harmony, a plea for interface harmony.
Terrific. And before everyone goes away for the weekend, Jonathan Swift had this to say in 1711, I never wonder to see men wicked, but I often wonder to see them not ashamed. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. Any comments that you have about Mrs. Berrah, please direct them to her email, and your email is?
It's Berrah, contact@berrahfoundation.org. Contact@berrahfoundation.org.
Thank you. And thank you all for joining us. And Mrs. Berrah will be on next month, the last Friday of the month, with another topic. And if you have any suggestions for her in which to speak about, again, contact Mrs. Berrah at her email. And she'll be delighted to hear from you. Tell them your email again.
Contact@berrahfoundation.org.
Thank you. Everybody.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for being. And you received a comment saying, building bridges, Lillian, great job. And that is from Lisa Solon.
Thank you very much, Lisa.